jump right into it. I like to start with everybody from the beginning. I'm curious. Make sure this is even sounding good. And I'm curious myself. When were you born and where were you born?
We rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling. Go
Okay,
ahead.
got you. Oh man, check it. Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds
Oh, it's good. It's good. All right, cool. Oh man, where I'm from, where I was born. I was born in New York,
Okay.
Uptown Washington Heights, Dykeman to be exact. 1994.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that where your family's from?
Now my family's Dominican, so my mom and pops from the Dominican Republic. My mom just migrated to New York and had me. So,
Okay. You know how they met?
that's that's a pretty deep. It's just like third, you know what I mean? Not third world country, but it's a third world country stuff where my pops was on this thing, man. He already had a family, so you know what I mean. And then my mom came in the picture, and so yeah.
Okay. But they met over here or over there?
They met over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they met over there, and then somehow my mom got a visa and made it out to New York.
Gotcha. And then you were born here?
Yeah, I was born in New York. Yeah.
Okay. Did you grow up there?
Till I was 13, 14.
Okay.
From 13, so born 13, 14, and then my mom moved to Arizona, and then I lived there for about 10 years, and then I moved out here.
Interesting. Excuse me. When I first started shooting music videos, I was living in Phoenix.
In Phoenix?
Yeah.
No way. What cross streets?
I kind of lived a few different places. My first place was downtown
Okay.
on like 3rd Ave and Roosevelt.
Oh, you was in the trenches.
It was up and coming at that time.
It was up and coming.
Yeah, it was a nice little spot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it also gets tricky right there for sure.
See, I was. My mom lives in Casa Grande, so that's in the boonies.
Yeah.
But when I was staying out there, I was staying on 19th Ave and Camelback.
Oh, yeah.
So that's even worse.
I went to that school right there, GCU.
GCU. Oh yeah. So that's on.
It's on 35th and
30,
Camelback.
yeah, yep.
27th and Camelback.
Dang, we probably ran into each other there. We just
Maybe,
didn't-
bro.
didn't
I was
even know.
wilding in those streets. I'm not even gonna lie.
Really? Yeah, you probably. I was calm and collective, but I
Yeah.
knew a bunch of people that went to GCU at the
Oh,
time
yeah?
too. So
Okay, for sure.
yeah, that's crazy.
You said you were born in 94?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're 30? 30?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
How old are you?
I'm 30. I'm about to turn 30 in May.
Okay. May what?
May 2nd.
May 27th.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, shit. So you're what, Taurus?
Yeah,
Yeah, there it is.
for sure. Okay, so you grew up with any siblings?
Yeah, man. It was my cousins and my brother.
Mm.
I had 2 cousins. And yeah, they took me everywhere because I was the younger one. My mom was working, so I was always with my brother. He'd have to take me everywhere. And, I live in the 3rd floor and my cousins live on the 4th floor.
Okay.
So then every time that our parents went to work, we would stick together, go do what we had to do, and I would have to go with them everywhere.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And that's in New York where you guys live like
New
that?
York, yeah.
Okay.
So, it's like, back in the days, it was like we had house phones, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was more of like somebody's at the door, don't open it. You know what I mean? Not like nowadays, everybody got all this Ring cameras and everything, you know what I mean? But it's a little bit different.
What you remember like learning from the people older than you, your mom, your
Man,
cousins?
it's a grind. It was a grind because New York never sleeps. So it's like they're always doing something. Everything is steady moving. So that's one thing they taught me was to grind. To work for what you want.
Definitely. Okay, so you moved to Arizona when you were like 13.
Yeah.
What was that transition like for you? That's a big,
it was a culture shock.
Yeah.
I went from getting on trains, walking 5 blocks or 5 miles, and it was like a breeze, to a deserted place where I'm like, I walk 5 miles and I'm still in the desert. You know what I mean? Mind you, when I moved to Arizona, it was like Chandler for like a year, and then we went to Casa Grande. So Casa Grande, it was more deserted, because it's like, you ever been to Tucson?
Yeah.
So you know that it's right in between Tucson and Phoenix. So there's nothing there. You know what I mean? It's like, once you hit those little cities like Coolidge, Florence, is nothing. So it was, you know, my mom wanted what's best for us. So, you know, in New York, it was just so much going on.
For sure. What's your earliest memory? The earliest thing you can remember?
Earliest thing I can remember. Damn. Oh, man. I would say playing video games at probably 3 years old. Yeah. With my brother.
What were you playing?
NBA Jam on the Sega Genesis.
Nice.
That's probably, I was 3. And then, I mean, my brother, he's about, I think, 8 years older than me.
Okay.
So, I mean, he would be the type to do the share Lucky Charms with me, but he'll eat the marshmallows and then he'll give me the other piece. So that's like early memories with my brothers and my cousins.
For sure. What do you remember hearing, like, as far as being introduced to music?
Oh, man. So what's crazy is I got a lot of influence from my brother, because he would listen to a bunch of music, but it was mainly, a lot of it was Spanish. So, you know, my mom, to this day, I mean, she speaks a little bit English now. She adapted for being, you know, but a lot of it was Spanish music, man. And then my brother would introduce me to, like, what was hot at the moment, or what he thought it was, you know, popping, and then I gravitated to it. But then as the years gone by and I started, you know, like producing and stuff like that, I would put myself on to like different records, just because it was like, man, I sample a lot. Like if I were to produce or make beats, like my first go-to is like, oh, I got to find a record, or I got to find a old song to see. So that kept me going that route.
When did you realize that you wanted to make music, or that was even possible?
Oh, man, it was like it was high school. Like middle school, high school. You know how it is, man. You start off with a group of people, and it was like, man, yeah, let's all rap. Let's all do what we got to do. And then nobody wants to make beats, so then I started making beats. And then nobody wanted to record, so I started recording. And then by that time, I lost rapping. I used to rap, so then I lost all that. And then I just stuck to like producing and engineering. And at that time, it's like, I had a little group, you know, I was in a group, and we were just making music, and then everything just, you know.
In high school?
In high school.
What software were you using?
Man, I was making beats in FL, but I was using Audacity to record. And then I think it was Music Maker.
Someone just... you guys put some money together, got a mic, or what?
Oh, man, that's crazy. So I would really, I had 2 homies at the time. One he had the whole setup at the crib, or I think he got it from a pawn shop, and then he built a booth in his room, and the booth was all egg cartoned out, and then we would record there. Or had another homie, Jalen Peck. I'm cool with him to this day. He had his garage, and then he had a 3-car garage, but the single-car garage, his mom let him use to like just do whatever. So we built the booth in there, and then once we built the booth in there, you know, we just brought everything over.
For sure. That was in Casa Grande?
Yeah, I was in Casa Grande.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, where did it go from there?
Oh, man, he just kept making music, dropped records, and then, you know, people graduated high school, and then some people stopped making music, you know what I mean? Just everybody was trying to figure out their path. Me, on the other hand, I was like, I still want to do it. It was cool. It was like, you know, it was a passion of mine, so I was like, I had to keep pursuing it. And, yeah, it was about let's see, out of the 8 people in that group, 9 people, 8, 9, like 2 other dudes are still making music, which is my homie Doozy. I got to shout him out because he shouted me out on he had a little podcast the other day too. My homie Doozy, and then my homie James Dean, but he goes by Iwa. He's in Flagstaff doing his thing. He just opened up for Leon Thomas, so yeah, he's doing his thing.
Dope. Okay, so did you think that you want to do it as like a career? Like, were you charging for studio time or?
Oh man, at that time I didn't even know what studio time was.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like, it's like when you start, right? You don't know that there's much more because your mind is so innocent and you're starting out and you're just having fun. And so like I was like, man, I graduated high school and I had 2 free years of college. I just had to keep a 3.0 or something above. So I checked the music program there and I just went with that.
Okay, so you started learning more in school?
Yeah, when I went to school. I went to college, which was crazy. I started and I was like, hey, I want to do the music program, but it's like these junior colleges, their advisors don't know much. Yeah. So they put me in a predicament or in a different what is it called? In a different degree. So I was doing general study classes when I didn't even have to. So at that point I was like, man, I get it done. I'm already a year in. I'm like, why am I not doing no music classes? I'm just doing math and reading, and I'm like, I don't really need this. Like, so at that point, I just kept doing, and I got my general studies out the way. And then when I got into the music program, it was like, okay, it was like 2 years later after that.
Okay, for sure. And then. So where did it go from there? Did you know like you wanted to come out here and do music or what?
So, man, I was in college, was doing, I took the music program. Shout out to Dan Bush. He was my advisor and he was the overseer of the music program. He took me in, was like, okay, this is what you want to do. Well, this is what we got to do to get, this is the program and this is what I'm going to teach you, and whatever you want to do from it, you can go. So then I finished doing all that. I took recording 1, 2, and 3, which was recording classes, music theory classes, and did all that. And then I wound up interning at Salt Mine Studios in Arizona, which is like the biggest recording studio in Arizona. So, yeah. Have you been there?
I think I have. It sounds really familiar.
It's next to the Nile Theater. You ever been to the Nile, which is in downtown Mesa? Okay. It's off.
I'm pretty sure I've been there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. They have a lot of the concerts. Like a lot of concerts are literally at the Nile, but it's just in Mesa. It's like you could take the light rail now if you were to live out there. It goes all the way down.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so you started working there, and
I was interning there for about 4 years. But in those 4 years, like I learned a lot. Yeah, which was like I was doing an internship, so majority of the time it wasn't paid. You know what I mean? So I was just off the strength, just going, showing up, paying my dues, and just learning everything they had there.
You were engineering, or?
No, I was interning, so I was just you
were just there, like helping out.
Yeah, I was there helping out, and then I was interning. I was literally there, just in the front desk. People coming in, telling them what rooms to go to, and then I got cool with a couple of the engineers in there. One of them, Andre, he's a beast. And he was like, he would teach me and let me sit in on sessions. And it was like, that was cool because he didn't have to, you know what I mean? Most of those engineers there were like, they were top tier, like John Gray, he was some shit, but he's been doing back shit since the 80s, 90s. So, but Andre was the one that I would sit in with at times and be like, yo, like, you know, what you doing? Like,
Yeah.
he like, yeah, I'm doing this and that. Like, you want to sit in? Cool. Like, you know.
And at this time, you're still like just making beats, or?
At this time, yeah, I'm making beats, man. But it was like, at this point, I'm like, I'm just making beats for myself, and then trying to learn the recording process, because now it's like I'm in an official studio and I'm there interning. I'm there just like working, you know, knowing how a studio runs and the business side of it. Because, mind you, when you start, it's just all fun and games till it really gets serious. And then when it gets serious, it's like, you know, you got to start learning what to do when this doesn't work, or what to do when, you know what I mean? Just troubleshooting and just the business side of it.
Definitely. Okay. And so you're probably, what, like 18, 19 at this time? Or
yeah.
20, 21?
Like 20, 21, 18, 19. Yeah.
And
20,
then,
21.
Okay. And then what made you, like, you left that part? You want to have your own studio? Like, what were you thinking?
So what brought me here to California?
Yeah.
Ah, man. So let's see. So I was out there, and out of nowhere, I just like, man, I came out here once or twice, just saw some visiting stuff, and I was like, oh, California's cool. But I was just there for too long, where I'm just like, man, I need to go somewhere where I can get an opportunity, or I can not fit in, but where I can, you know, get to where I need to get to, you know what I mean? Or get to the goal, you know what I mean? Which is more work. And, you know, in Arizona, it's cool. Like, there's work out there. You can really make a living out there doing it. But the clientele, and it's just so it's like oversaturated, right? It's just like, it's boxed in, and which, you know, people still trying, you know, keep going. But I had the choice to go back to New York or out here, and I just wanted to change. I want to change. I'm like, man, I'll just go back to New York. You know, I got family out there. I could just figure it out, you know, and then try to do an internship out there and just do music out there, or pursue the engineering. And then I was like, man, I came out here again, and I was like, man, I think I'll just come out here. And the reason is, my mom still lives in Arizona, so a 5-hour drive is easier than a 5-hour flight.
Definitely.
So it's like, and I got to enjoy my family, my aunt, and my cousins, and my brother. They still live in Arizona. So it's like, I could just visit. It's nothing. I could just drive there. But thinking of, like, if I'm homesick and I want to go home, that the flights ain't cheap. You know what I mean? So it's like, I might as well just, you know, try it out here. You know, worst thing that could happen is I just go back home, you know. So
okay. So you came out here, and what was the plan?
Man, I moved out here. I had a job at the time. I was working at Walmart. Shit. So working at Walmart, I had a transfer. So that's what really also brought it too, because I had a transfer I had a job. I was there for a year. You know, I was still interning, and I was, you know, working at Walmart. I could have just transferred to New York or transferred out here. So I was like, you know what? Let me just transfer out here. So when I decided that I'm going to move out here, I was like, okay, I had 3 options to transfer, because I was working at a warehouse. So it was like Victorville, they have a warehouse out there, and then in Chino, and then one in, I forgot, it was like in Woodland Hills or some crazy shit like that. So then I came out here checking them warehouses, because I'm like, man, I got to transfer, because I got to have a job. Like, I wasn't going to move if I didn't have a job, because I don't want to. I mean, I feel like I could have done it, but it would have made me more secure just to have something, you know?
Definitely.
So I came to visit before I got an apartment. I was like, you know what? Let me check this. I didn't know my demographics. I was like, oh, I just knew what LA was, Hollywood, you know? Just like everybody else, everybody calls LA like California. Oh, this is, you know? So then I came to Victorville, and I was like, yo, there ain't shit up here, so I'm definitely not going to do it out here. Woodland Hills, I went over there. It was cool, but it was too far. And then I was like, man, I'll just go to Chino. And then in the midst of that, the person I was moving out here with, we had a couple apartments to, you know, viewings. Yeah. One was in Rialto. One was in, I think it was West Covina. And then one was in Pomona. And then out of nowhere, I was like, man, Rialto's too damn far. Yeah. I wound up getting the job in Chino, so I was like, man, let's just stick with the Pomona one. It's right down the street. You know, whatever we do is right there, you know. And then if we got to go to L.A., we just, you know, it's 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. So when I moved out here, my job, my mind was just working, you know what I mean? I just have to work, you know, just figure it out, like live a little because I'm new to the state, but still try to keep doing what I'm doing with music, just keep making beats, keep, you know, just keep on whatever, you know, just keep at it, at the goal, you know.
Okay. So you kept making beats, and then how'd you start, like, meeting artists and working with artists?
Man, so shit. Let's see. So I moved out here. At the time, my roommate at the time, he was doing music too, so I would record him. And then, you know, he'd go to events and just would network or whatever. But really got my first break was, at the time, there was a studio in Paramount called the Z Room. So the owner, his name is Z God. I talked to him like the other day, but he's been MIA out of like everything. He's been MIA, but he posted something. This was like, damn, like 2020, I think, 2021, 2020.
Yeah,
around that time. He posted looking for an engineer, and I was like, "Whoa, shit!" I tapped in, and then nothing ever came of it. And then he posted again, like, "Hey, looking for an engineer." And I was like, "What's up, bro? Just, you know, I'm available if anything. You know, mind you, I'm still working this job. I was just trying to see something different. You know what I mean? See what's new in California. I've never recorded a Cali artist, so it was like, oh, like whatever." So next thing you know, he's like, "Yeah, like come on down, like let's see what you're about."
Yeah.
And he gave me my first real opportunity. When I, you know, and then, yeah, that was my first opportunity was with him. He gave me, my first session was literally, I think it was it, in that studio, it was MCM.
Okay.
MCM, and I think King was there too. That was my first session.
Yeah.
And mind you, I'm like, I don't know these guys. I'm just like, you know, on my professional tip, because I'm like, I gotta kick ass because this is like my first opportunity.
Had they dropped that one song yet?
Which one?
What's it called? Like In My City?
Oh yeah, this was after I came.
Yeah.
So In My City was out. I came in like a year after, man.
Yeah.
They were popping already. So I just, I kind of came in a little bit after, in the middle, because they were already signed and everything.
Okay.
They were already blowing up.
Yeah.
And so that was my first session, and then my second session was with Inhale.
Okay.
So Nate Dogg's son, that was my second session, and I'm like, Z's telling me like, "Yo, like they fucking with you. Do you want to keep working?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro. Like it's cool. Like I'm down for it." And you know, yeah. This time I'm just still working at Walmart, just, you know, keeping my little income coming in, my stable income, and then still doing sessions here and there. You know.
Yeah. So like, did you keep working with more artists or like?
Yeah, I kept getting booked out of that studio while he had it. And at this point, I mean, by the fifth, sixth session, I mean, I just started, because everybody, if you didn't know, like Z Room was a big place, like it was a big studio. Like O3 was there before he got locked up. He was in there making music. Like everybody that was somebody in LA was going through there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so what happened there was I met Adrian and Kyle, Ocho and Kyle at that time.
Did you meet him through King?
No, I met him through working at the Z Room, because I was recording MCM and King, and they were like, "Yo, like we like how you work. What do you know?" I just kept working with them because they would keep me booked. But
they would bring you to other studios, or they
would bring me to other studios. So at this time, I was locked in with them. They were like, "Oh, you know, like, hey, we're here. Are you available?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah," because they had another engineer.
Yeah.
But he got so busy too. He was like going crazy. So I was like, "Oh shit!" It was fortunate
Yeah.
Like, they were like, yeah, hey, I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
But then it got to a time where they kept me so booked that I was like doing a 12-hour studio session and then going to work for 10 hours.
Yeah, crazy.
Literally, and I'm just like, and then, at them jobs, it's like, I used to finesse the system a little bit with them jobs because I'm like, man, like, I'll take bereavement, you know what I mean? Or I'll take, somebody died in my family, like, I got to take a week off. And it was just at the point where they were like, I'd come to the studio tired, and they were like, dude, like, did you sleep? I'm like, no, I haven't, but let's keep working, So they were like, one day they were like, what do we got to do to have you quit the job? And I'm like, shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's at that time I was like, man, I didn't know what to tell them, but it was like evident that they were going to keep booking me, and I was going to keep working with artists and getting out other opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I was just like, man, I'm just putting my 2 weeks in, and let's see what this is about. It's tough, it's scary because you're freelancing.
Yeah.
If you don't work, you don't eat. If you don't, so you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I took the leap of faith, and after that, the rest was history, man.
Mm-hmm.
They just kept booking me, and from there, I just kept meeting people.
Mm-hmm. So it just kept going up and up.
Yeah, and shout out to the Ocho and Kyle, man. They really just was like, yo, they believed.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, like, just quit that job. Like, a lot of people say quit a job, but it's like, do they really, like, you know what I mean? Like, are they gonna be able to? If something goes wrong, like, what's your plan B? Like, there's no plan B. It's just A, B, C. Like, shit gotta work.
Yeah, for sure.
But they believed in me that much. They were like, dude, like, whatever you need. Like, from there, it was cool.
Who's your favorite people to work with?
Ah, man, they're my favorite people to work with. I was literally, Ocho called me, as you've seen, you know what I mean? I'll be in the studio. Artist-wise, or just like, people.
Favorite artists? Do you collab with producers?
I don't got a favorite artist, man. They all hard to me in their own way, man. Everybody is unique in their own way, and whatever I could do to help them is like, I just,
You record all types of genres, no? So
yeah, I do. That's the thing. Like, the more you can record, or the more the more diverse you can be, or the more valuable you could be. You know, so it's like if you know how to take pictures and you know how to do video, it's like you become more booked. So it's like I had to learn how to. But that's in college. I learned how to record drums and all that stuff because it was a predominantly like rock program, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people there were like, singers and pop, and it wasn't really much rap. There was like a little couple rappers over there, but it was mainly like rock and drums and stuff like that.
Okay. What do you ever collaborate with other producers?
Man, I have, but have they came out or like, I've not really. I normally make, because think about it, I'm from New York, man, so I'm making East Coast beats, and I'm making stuff that's way different from out here.
Yeah.
And I'm in a session with King, and I'm playing East Coast beats. He's like, bro, what is this? It's not my sound.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to step back and really think of like, okay, like, I got to make these type of beats now, which was like, it was easy. It was just sped up. You know what I mean? So then drums changed differently, but that helped me also broaden my sound,
You do more producing or more engineering?
More engineering.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be so booked with engineering that people ask me for beats all the time, and I'm just like, I've been, you see me everywhere. I'll just be in the studio recording. I really don't have time to make beats. But I made myself a promise this year to really get at least more placements in beats, you know what I mean? Since I know I'm an engineer and I know what people are looking for, I could really make it and then just present it when, you know what I mean? That's how it normally is.
Yeah, you have the network.
Yeah, I got
in
the
place
network
already.
For it. Yeah,
you can be like, hey, listen to this real quick, or fucking with this.
Yeah, literally, that's how a bunch of like stuff that I got with Rowdy that's unreleased. Like, me and him got a lot. We got like at least 12, 13 songs all produced by me.
Nice.
But I just, you know, he knows that's, I feel like to me those are his best records.
Yeah.
And he keeps making better records, like good records, but I feel like none of those records would top what me and him got, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because we got some shit, yeah.
Outside of like any streams or views or whatever, what do you think is your best record, your favorite record that you put out?
My favorite record that I've put out? Shit, that's tough because I put out a lot of bangers, man. Well, Cali Lovin' was one of my first big placements that I had, which was with King, which it was a dope record, man. But this is where they started looking at me like, bro, all you do is sample. Mind you, it's, you know, that's all I do is sample. I can make regular beats, but it's easier to just create, you know what I mean, that way for me. So how that came along was we was in the studio, and I've sent the beat to King like 3 different times. And then he pulled up to the studio one day, and he was like, I was like, yo, did you hear that beat? He's like, what beat? I'm like, bro, I texted you 3 different times. Mind you, I've been working with bro already for like a year. So I'm like, we talk all the time. And he's like, nah, play it for me. And then the rest was history. I played it for him in the studio. He got in the booth, did it. And then we went and shot the music video. It was supposed to be a big thing, but at the time, they had to clear the sample. So they put it out, and they were like, no, take it down, because, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. They took it down. And by the time it went back up, Coil Ray dropped Players, because Girls is Players too, and that was the same sample. Yeah. And that shit pissed me off, man. But it's like I've caught, like, it's happened to me like a couple other times where I'll sample something before it comes out again and it's way bigger. Yeah. And it's like
interesting.
Yeah.
When's the last time you hopped on the track?
Whoa. It was in college. Yeah. Damn. But I worked with a couple artists, and they tell me like, bro, why don't you hop in the booth? It's because I'm like, as I'm engineering, I also like sometimes artists get stuck, and I just be like, just say this or sing this or talk about this, and it's like I still get creative that way. But I haven't hopped on the mic. Actually, no, I'm lying. I'm lying to you. Last time I hopped in the booth was to do some vocal harmonies on a beat that I produced. Cool. So, yeah, that was last year. But to like a song that's out that I rapped on, it's been a minute.
Yeah, for sure. What's the biggest lesson you've learned from being in the music industry?
Man, one thing I've learned is like, don't get fooled by like, you know, opportunities are gonna come, but don't let people drag you on because it's an opportunity. You know what I mean? Don't be like, oh yeah, you work with me, but you know, or it's an internship. I can't pay you, but I'm gonna help you make money, or you know, you're gonna help me make money, but I'm not gonna pay you. Like, it doesn't work that way, because people go through stuff, you know what I mean. But when you live and breathe this stuff, it's like you got to figure it out, because if not, then you end up in a hole. You feel me? Yeah. And you don't want to do that, and it's like it's the worst feeling, man.
For sure. Where do you think most rappers can improve?
Man, most rappers can improve. I think a lot of them got to start going to church. Yeah. Because if you think about it, man, a lot of the music, like soulful music or like music with feeling, stems from, I think, from church. That and be diverse. Like, just because you make one song and, you know, just try everything. You don't know what might work. I look at it like this, like from an engineer standpoint. How I treat every record like it's the lottery, right? You don't know what that record might cash you out. You know what I mean? Or like you're in the casino, right? You're doing you're doing a spin. That might be that one spin that'll give you a bonus. You know what I mean? So you just got to treat every record like, you know what I mean, it's gonna pay you out good. For sure. Yeah.
Put your all into it.
Yeah, you gotta, you know.
You gotta promote the record too, no?
Promote it, but that goes down to the artist too. You know, I feel like artists could do that too. Marketing, you know.
What do you think producers could improve? Producers, engineers.
Producers, engineers. I feel like, man, with producers, everything became so saturated.
Mm-hmm.
Like back then, man, like beats used to be 30, 40, 50,000 back in the 2000s. But since YouTube came up and it's been so easy to get beats,
Yeah.
people don't put no like exclusivity to them, you know what I mean? So I just been like me with my producing, I just been cooking on the low, and with what I do have, I know it's gonna do some shit. Which on Rowdy's album that's dropping, I got like 3 or 4 on there.
Nice.
And I feel like that's gonna make him look better as an artist. But I just feel like me, I got a certain sound working with, with where I'm from, you know what I mean, that I just incorporated the East Coast sound with the West Coast sound.
For sure. What if you could go and give yourself advice at say 20 years old, what would it be?
At 20 years old,
Yeah.
man, don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
It gets tough, you know what I mean, and you're in a predicament where you get a job and that job starts to consume you, and you're like, man, because if you don't work, you don't eat. But then it's like, don't give up, man. Like, sometimes you got to put it on hold. We get it, life happens, but just remember, like, whatever you want to achieve, just keep on going.
For sure. What do you want to accomplish in the future? What are your goals for the future?
Man, I just want to be able to continue to do what I love, man, which is making records. And hopefully I'm able to change people's lives through music, you know what I mean? Eventually get to the point where I just become noticeable, you know what I mean? Become like a Jason Joshua or a Young Guru or Alex Tomei, like big time engineers, you know what I mean? Or Timbaland, or big time producer, you know what I mean? Just be able to help everybody around me get into a better predicament.
For sure. So let's say I'm like 16, 18 years old. I want to produce records. What should I do?
Oh, man. If you want to produce a record at 16, around the time I started, I would say you first got to or you could even start on your phone now. Nowadays, everything is on the phone, so you really could just get an app and just start making, just create.
Yeah.
Just make music. Just do whatever you hear in your head. Just on the phone, there's programs out there. You know what I mean? Just if you want to go that route, you can. But if you want to get a computer, just download DAWs or buy computers with programs on them and just start making music. Because it's like when you start, right? When you first start making music, or like, for example, like when you start taking pictures, it's all fun. And then shit starts to get serious. So you got to find a way to keep the fun in it.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because if not, it's going to look like work, and then you're going to get dreaded, tired, and it just becomes it becomes a hassle. It's not fun anymore. So you got to always try to find the fun in it.
That's great advice for sure. That's pretty much all the questions I got, bro. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or anything up and coming for you?
Nothing really, man. Just man. No, that's pretty much it. You did your shit, man.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for coming through, sharing some knowledge. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for coming through.
So how normally it's like what? Because I seen the first episodes you started dropping were like hour longs. Are you starting to cut down on it?
No, I drop them raw.
Like that?